1998's hit film Dark City tells the story of a man who struggles with memories of his past, which includes a wife he cannot remember and a nightmarish world no one else ever seems to wake up from. The cult classic starred Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, and Jennifer Connelly. But what many may not realize is that Dark City has a connection to one of the most famous film franchises in history. So stay tuned and don't go away, because Dark City's Matrix connection goes deeper than its plot. First up, was Dark City really the first part of the Matrix trilogy? You're about to find out. According to film industry insiders, director Alex Proyas' 1998 film Dark City was actually the first part of the Matrix trilogy, the second part of the groundbreaking 1999 film The Matrix, and the third was David Cronenberg's eXistenZ, which was released 1 month after The Matrix. All of the films essentially deal with machines that erase people's sense of identity and purpose. In all 3 films, the machines are overseen by some dark force controlled by aliens in Dark City, artificial intelligence in The Matrix, and by wacko video game designers in eXistenZ. The films deal with themes such as existential manipulators attempting to distract their selected victims from the truth of the world around them. As far as critics are concerned, the films are excellent. The Matrix was released by Warner Brothers in March of 1999 among a slew of high-budget and highly anticipated films. Believe it or not, The Matrix wasn't predicted to be a hit at all. At the time, everyone's eyes were on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Toy Story 2, and The Mummy. But The Matrix wasn't the only unexpected hit of 1998. 2 films, The Sixth Sense, starring film star Bruce Willis, and The Blair Witch Project, also wowed audiences. The Wachowski sisters' film, The Matrix, took the world by storm, and soon after, it seemed the entire planet was talking about The Matrix. The Wachowski sisters' previous film, Bound, from a few years earlier, was a success, but not even close to the level of success that The Matrix had. Film connoisseurs say that The Matrix completely changed the action genre for years to come. For instance, the so-called bullet time effect began appearing in other movies and dark cyber thrillers. For those of you who don't know, the bullet time effect is when bullets travel very slowly through the air as they make their way to intended targets. Next up, did Dark City inspire the Matrix team? You bet. In 1998, film geeks pointed out that many of the themes and visuals that became famous in The Matrix had already been used, and some have argued used to much greater effect in Dark City. The same people also pointed out that Cronenberg revisited the same concepts and ideas in eXistenZ, but did it even better. And at this point, there's really no debating the fact that all 3 films stand alone as masterpieces of cinema. But the connection between Dark City and The Matrix extends far beyond film geek theory of the 1990s. There's concrete evidence that the 2 are linked. In fact, Dark City's VFX technicians are the same ones who created the look and feel for The Matrix. Dark City's unique look is an amalgam of every dark cinematic cityscape in the history of film, which is presented to the main characters the same way the cities themselves are artificial constructs for the audience. In Dark City, it's never daytime, and at midnight, every citizen in the city falls asleep. Once asleep, mysterious figures emerge from the shadows, giving sleeping humans a mysterious injection into their brains, and use their powers to alter people's realities by rearranging rooms and buildings. When citizens wake up, they have new identities and no recollection of their previous life. Similar to The Matrix, the main characters in Dark City are merely cogs, controlled by puppet masters in an alternate reality. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're about to travel deeper down the rabbit hole and look at the obvious connections between Dark City and The Matrix. Next up, what's it like to live in a dystopian world? You're about to find out. The Matrix takes place in what seems like the real world, but in reality, it's a complicated simulation being fed directly into the minds of humans by an artificial intelligence system that controls the entire world. It enslaved humanity with the use of high-tech VR pods. The lead characters in the film refer to the simulation as the Matrix, and when they escape from the Matrix, they wake up to find themselves in a grim dystopian world where the Earth has been repopulated with robots. The remaining humans are then forced into hiding underground. The dystopian world in Dark City is urban, while the one in The Matrix is post-apocalyptic. Both films, however, at their core are about heroes. Actor Rufus Sewell in Dark City and actor Keanu Reeves in The Matrix both emerge from their failed fake realities, wage war against their manipulators, and destroy the simulation. To learn more about the visual similarities of both films, VFX colorist Peter Doyle, who worked on both films, knows everything there is to know. Doyle's work is also shown in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and a number of Harry Potter films. Doyle works at Technicolor, and his job is to manipulate color temperatures and give each film its own unique style. Doyle spoke about working with the Matrix VFX director, John Gaeta, and said, "I'd known John from work back in Massachusetts, and I do remember sitting with Lana and Lily after they had just been shown in Dark City. Because when they came through town with Barry Osborne, the producer, the film hadn't quite been released yet, so they'd set up to have a look. And then everyone just sat around laughing, realized that they're just about to make Dark City again, but called it The Matrix instead." Up next, what else has VFX colorist Peter Doyle revealed about working on Dark City and The Matrix? Let's find out. Doyle revealed that much of the success of the out-of-this-world visual effects seen in Dark City and The Matrix can be attributed to a computer program called Cineon. Cineon was an early computer-based digital film system developed by the Kodak Corporation in the mid-1990s. The program was used for composting, visual effects, film restoration, and color management. Doyle's very proud of the work that he did on both films, and he explained just how complex the process was. Doyle said, "If you take on a major film nowadays with 2,500 digital effects shots, it's not going to work to have a dozen of your buddies and yourself sit there and go, 'We'll get through this.' It just can't work." Doyle is referring to the number of VFX artists working on the projects and how they needed to expand to a very large team in order to get all of the work done. For Doyle, Dark City was an interesting period in visual effects productions where an artist could feel that their contribution was effective and that they can truly be involved in the process. The entire team would interact with Alex Proyas, so it wasn't just a matter of people going through Doyle, which certainly added to workplace equality. Next up, did Dark City influence modern sci-fi? Let's dig a little deeper. 24 years ago, Dark City, a visionary film about a man with no past, wielding superhuman powers against humanity's hidden masters in a sinister metropolis, was revealed, and it was so powerful that it made moviegoers question how they saw reality. So, whatever The Matrix did, make no mistake, Dark City did it first. In Dark City, a policeman, Inspector Bumstead, played by actor William Hurt, struggles to solve a string of murders that drove his partner insane. A nightclub singer, Emma Murdoch, played by Jennifer Connelly, is contacted by a psychiatrist, Dr. Daniel Paul Schreiber, played by Kiefer Sutherland, who claims to have been treating her husband, John. According to Schreiber, John suffered a psychotic break, and in another part of the city, John Murdoch, played by Rufus Sewell, wakes up in a dingy hotel room with no memories of how he got there. In the room, he finds the body of a murdered woman and begins to suspect that he killed her. Dark City starts out as a noir mystery, but soon evolves into something else. Murdoch knows nothing about the city or its people, and even less about the person he used to be. Fans of the film found it disturbing how some aspects of the city resembled real life. Every cast member is amazing in the film, and Connelly in particular is spectacular. Fans were able to empathize with Sewell's character being lost in the maze of Dark City, and Kiefer Sutherland disappears into his traumatized role and shows his incredible acting chops. Finally, what's the best way to watch Dark City? According to fans, the absolute best way to watch Dark City is by watching the director's cut by Alex Proyas, who also directed Brandon Lee in The Crow. Don't be fooled by its age. The film has stood the test of time, and it's still as mind-blowing as it was back in 1998. If you're a fan of the Matrix franchise, you'll definitely want to check it out. And while you're at it, David Cronenberg's eXistenZ for a creepy, out-of-this-world experience. That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching.